This is action here for Sunday, January 8th. I'm Tony T with our NFL Pick Show here for Sunday's action. We have all 14 games, 4 games, do just a couple things. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free NFL picks are updated all season long. Free picks from all the major sports. We load tons of free picks on our channel, so it is a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, like the video, give us a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Then visit Tony'sPicks.com. We are a multi-capper site, showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the links to the hot cappers, get signed up to some of our long-term passes. Hot cappers see up there here like the Morning Steam team has been doing great work, as well as Pravi's been on absolute fire here on the site. Mindy as well. Nick is doing great work. Click the links, get signed up to our long-term passes. You'll find our premium picks here on the center of the page. Our best bets. Each capper can release one best bet per sport per day. Many up here for Sunday's action. Our $15 premium pick promotional item. Each capper can designate one of their plays on their card as a $15 premium pick just to introduce their service to new and existing customers. Our 3-packs offer great value. Look, we're loaded here Sunday with 3-packs and longer. Get on board. And our pick ticker, if you prefer, you can purchase the picks a la carte on our pick ticker with team versus team information. You can save 20% off all premium pick packages when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout. You can access our page by clicking the link you see in the description. Click the All Cappers tab and get signed up. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get this one started. Buccaneers versus Falcons. NFL pick here for Sunday. Left tackle out for Tampa Bay on defense, and nose tackle and right corner out. Questionable, a left corner and safety. Falcons guard out with defensive starters healthy. Tampa Bay has clinched the NFC South, locked into a 4 seed. Falcons are out of the playoffs. Tampa Bay is 8-8, a 30-24 home win to Carolina to clinch. A couple of big plays from Tom Brady to win that one, picking on that corner from Carolina. The team put up 478 yards to the win, allowed 400 yards to the Panthers. Head coach Todd Bowles said he would play starters despite hosting a wildcard playoff game the next week. Tom Brady had a big game, completing 75% of his passes, 9.6 yards per attempt. He passed for 432 yards and 3 touchdowns. Blaine Gabbert will relieve Brady, and Kyle Trask, the third stringer, may see action. Atlanta improved to 6-10, a 20-19 home win to Arizona. Falcons put up 298 yards in the win. Scoring has been an issue as the team has been held to 20 or fewer points in 7 of 8 games. Rookie Desmond Ridder completed 73% of his passes in the win last week and had 6.5 yards per attempt. He's not thrown a touchdown or interception in his 3 games. Falcons have lost 4 of 5 against the division. Tough to trust the Falcons offense to cover over a field goal, even against the Bucs backups. You know, Gabbert has plenty of NFL experience. The Falcons defense has surrendered nearly 400 yards in divisional play. Play here will be on Tampa Bay at +4. Patriots and Bills NFL pick here for Sunday. New England has a receiver, Myers, questionable. On defense, both cornerbacks are questionable. Buffalo offensive starters healthy, with safety Hamlin, of course, on his way to recovery. A win and the Patriots earn a wildcard berth. A loss and they need a lot of help. Bills have won the AFC East. Bills win would mean the Bills and Chiefs would play on a neutral field if they meet in the AFC Championship game. Buffalo will be playing next week. New England improved at 8-8 with their 23-21 home win to Miami. Patriots gained only 249 yards. They have been held at 328 yards or fewer in 5 straight games. New England in divisional games have averaged a total of 25 points. That's combined team totals, 25. Patriots were held to 10 points in their first meeting. Bills have won 6 straight, covering half of those. Mac Jones in his first meeting against the Bills was held to 5.4 yards per pass attempt. Bills against the division under in 4 of 5, holding teams at 295 yards. Patriots also under in 4 of 5 in the division. You know, these teams know each other very well to play here. New England and Buffalo under 43.5. Vikings and Bears NFL pick here for Sunday. Vikings center is out with a linebacker questionable. Chicago starting quarterback Fields out. Left corner out on defense, and also the right cornerback questionable. Minnesota is the NFC North champion, cannot be the #1 seed. Chicago eliminated from the playoffs. With a loss and a Texas win, the Bears hold the #1 draft pick, believe it or not. Minnesota fell to 12-4, a 41-17 road defeat at Green Bay. Vikings have failed to cover 4 straight. Having a shot the #2 seed is motivated enough to win here for Minnesota. This means if the top seed loses in the divisional round, the Vikings could host the NFC Championship games. Things really have to fall for them, like a 49ers loss. Minnesota defense has been leaky, as in their past 3 games, allowing 367 yards and 34 points. But the Bears have lost 9 straight after that 41-10 road defeat to Detroit. They gained only 230 yards in defeat. Past 3 games, Bears averaging just 229 yards. Kirk Cousins has pounded bad defense. We saw with the Colts 460 yards passing, the Lions 425. He threw for 299 yards and 3 touchdowns at home to the Giants. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell commented to the media that his starters may not play the entire game. Remember, Minnesota must win and San Francisco lose to Arizona for the Vikings to climb into that number 2 seed. O'Connell may not feel that the 49ers losing is very likely, because the 49ers are about a 14-point favorite in that game. Nathan Peterman gets the start here for Chicago. He's thrown 11 passes in the past 3 seasons. Tim Boyle is the backup. Nick Mullins, the backup here for the Vikings, and he has NFL experience. And the Bears with a shot at the top pick in the draft means possible vanilla game plan play here. Minnesota -6. Ravens and Bengals, NFL pick here for Sunday. Quarterback Lamar Jackson out for Baltimore, with receiver Deshaun Jackson questionable. Backup quarterback Huntley questionable. Both backup receivers out. On defense, a defensive end and corner questionable. Bengals starters on offense healthy. A corner out for Cincinnati on defense. Both teams have made the playoffs. Cincinnati are AFC North champions and can't win the top seed. They are motivated to win to be able to host the playoff game next week. If the Ravens wins, the teams meet again next week in an AFC wildcard, with the home field decided by a coin flip. Baltimore comes off a 16-13 home defeat to Pittsburgh, giving up a late touchdown drive in defeat. Ravens gained only 240 yards. Past 3 games, the Baltimore offense averaging only 11 points and 288 yards. Huntley has seen limited work in practice. Coach Harbaugh relayed to the media that he expected Huntley to be ready. Anthony Brown is the third string, seeing limited work in the loss at Pittsburgh. Tyler Huntley averaging only 5.9 yards per pass attempt. Bengals have been on a roll, winning and covering 9 of 10. At home, the Bengals putting up 29 points and 433 yards. The play here will be on Cincinnati at -9. Texans and Colts, NFL pick Sunday. Receiver Dorsett out for Houston. On defense, they have a cornerback out and defensive end questionable. Colts quarterback Foles out, with tight end Granson as well. A corner on defense questionable. Both teams are out of the playoffs. A loss and the Texans will hold the number 1 draft pick. Colts currently sit with the 5th pick, and a loss could move them up in the draft order. Houston fell to 2-13-1 with their 31-3 home defeat to Jacksonville. Texans gained just 277 yards while giving up 337 to the Jaguars. They've covered 3 of 4 with a win at Tennessee, overtime loss to KC, and a 4-point loss at Dallas. Davis Mills struggled last week, but Mills has had some moments in the Cowboys and Chiefs loss, as well as a win against the Titans. Colts have lost 6 straight after their 38-10 road defeat at the Giants. Sam Ehlinger, in his past 2 starts, completed 56% of his passes, 3.8 yards per attempt. Indianapolis has not been competitive the past 2 games, averaging 212 yards, 6.5 points a game. Play here will be on Houston at plus the 2.5. Jets and Dolphins, NFL pick here for Sunday. Guard questionable and fullback out here for the Jets. On defense and safety is questionable. Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa out. A tight end Armstead doubtful. On defense, a linebacker, cornerback, and safety questionable. Jets eliminated from the playoffs. Miami earns a playoff spot with a win and Patriots loss. New York Jets dropped to 7-9, a 23-6 road defeat at Seattle. They've been held without a touchdown 2 straight games. They've gained just 279 yards on a bad Seattle defense. The previous week, New York gained 227 on Jacksonville. It is 5 straight losses for the Jets. Joe Flacco expected to start at quarterback. Mike White has fractured ribs. Zach Wilson ineffective. Flacco saw the bulk of the action in the first 3 weeks of the season, completing 59% with 5.8 yards per attempt. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns but 3 picks, averaging just 5.2, actually averaging 52 passing attempts a game. Miami's on a 5-game losing streak after a 23-21 road defeat at New England. Dolphins put up 333 yards. Now, Teddy Bridgewater had a critical interception that turned a 4-point lead into a 2-point deficit late in the 3rd quarter. That really swung the momentum. Rookie Skylar Thompson will get the start under center in spot action this year. He's completed 54% of his passes, but 5.2 yards per attempt. Thompson threw for a touchdown and 3 picks. But back-to-back road games for the Jets, traveling to and from Seattle a week ago. They faced the disappointment of playoff elimination this week and have a trip to Miami. Just don't see this a motivating trip down south against a team with a decent shot at making the playoffs. And at home, high volume passing by Flacco could lead to turnovers and sacks. Since the veteran lacks mobility, play here will be Miami at -3. Panthers and Saints NFL pick here Sunday. Running back Foreman questionable for Carolina. On defense, both ends and a tackle questionable. Saints have a left guard out. Tight end Johnson and both offensive we got some offensive tackles here. Issues here on the offensive line here questionable. On defense, we've got a corner out and safety questionable. Both teams are out of the playoffs. Now New Orleans do not have a first round pick. Carolina, they fell to 6-10, a 30-24 road defeat at Tampa Bay. Panthers moved the football for 400 yards, only 74 yards rushing. Sam Darnold, 341 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. That was last week against the Bucs. He threw for 3 touchdowns and an interception and 9.2 yards per attempt. Darnold also fumbled twice, which resulted in 10 Buccaneers points. New Orleans has won 3 straight after a 20-10 road win at Philadelphia. The Saints defense big here, allowed 18 or fewer points in 5 straight. Andy Dalton completed 82% of his passes in the win, 9.3 yards per attempt. He did throw 1 pick. The Saints defensive formed the difference here. Play here New Orleans at -3.5. Browns and Steelers NFL pick here for Sunday. Cleveland right tackle out. On defense, a defensive end out with cornerback questionable. Pittsburgh starters on offense healthy. A linebacker and safety questionable. Cleveland is out of the playoffs and they don't have a first round draft pick. Pittsburgh is playing for a winning record. They also have a shot at the playoffs with a win plus losses by New England and Miami. Cleveland is 7-9 after a 24-10 road win at Washington. Browns gained 301 yards in the win. They did give up 5 sacks and caught a break with Carson Wentz at quarterback and his 3 picks. Deshaun Watson made most of his 50% completions with 3 touchdowns and 9.4 yards per attempt. Overall, Watson a 57% completion rate with 6.2 yards per attempt. Pittsburgh moved to 8-8, a 16-13 come-from-behind win to Baltimore. The Steelers gained 351 yards, 198 of it rushing. 3 straight wins for the Steelers in 5 and 6 games. Defense allowed 17 points or fewer in that 6-game period. Kenny Pickett, 55% completion rate, 6.2 yards per attempt, and a clutch touchdown. Past 3 games, Steelers offense and defense in the better form. Pass protection, major issue for the Browns here. Play here will be Pittsburgh at -2.5. Giants and Eagles NFL pick here Sunday. Giants have their center questionable. On defense out as an end and a cornerback. Quarterback Jalen Hurts questionable and right tackle out. Defensive starters healthy. Giants have clinched a wild card spot. They're locked in the 6th seed. Eagles win and they win the NFC East and top seed in the NFC. New York improved to 9-6-1, a 38-10 home win in Indianapolis. Giants have covered 5 of 6. They posted 394 yards and 217 rushing. Daniel Jones not expected to start. Media reports have Davis Webb to start. Webb has not thrown a pass this season. Veteran Tyrod Taylor is the QB2 for the Giants. Philadelphia comes off the 20-10 home defeat to the New Orleans Saints. Eagles were held at 313 yards. Hurts expected to start after missing 2 games with a shoulder injury. Jalen Hurts posting a 67% completion rate with 8.2 yards per attempt. Starting a 3rd string talent for the Giants here. They will be on the road at the number 2 seed next week. Look for Philadelphia to get a lead. Milk clock in the second half. Play here in New York and Philadelphia under 42.5. Cowboys and Commanders NFL pick here for Sunday. Dallas center is out with the guard questionable. Linebacker out here. And the receiver Robinson and right tackle out for Commanders with the guard questionable. A right tackle and safety out on defense. Dallas has won 6 of 7, a 27-13 road win at Tennessee. Titans utilized a 3rd string quarterback in that game. Cowboys put up 361 yards, 87 of it rushing. Dak Prescott has been effective past 3 games with a 74% completion rate and 8.3 yards per attempt. Washington fell to 7-8-1, a 24-10 home defeat to Cleveland. Commanders have lost 3 straight. They put up just 260 yards. They are eliminated from the playoffs, so they'll start rookie Sam Howell at quarterback. Howell, a 5th round pick, has not thrown a pass in the regular season. Washington behind their 3rd string quarterback will struggle to score. Cowboys may know their fate in the second half if the Eagles are blowing out the Giants, who are starting a third string. Could see Cowboys rest starters in the late stages if the Eagles are up big. Play here, Dallas and Washington, under 40 points. Chargers and Broncos, NFL pick here for Sunday. Chargers have a fullback, Horvath, questionable, and their defensive starters are healthy. Denver receiver Hinton out, right tackle questionable, on defense and nose tackle out, corner questionable. Chargers have clinched a playoff spot, a win, and they are the 5th seed, and they travel to Jacksonville in a wildcard game. But a loss by Baltimore early in the day, and the Chargers are locked in as a 5 seed prior to kickoff. Denver out of the playoff contention. LA improved to 10-6, a 31-10 home win to LA Rams. Chargers put up 431 yards, had success running the football with 192. Justin Herbert passed for 4 touchdowns, completing 74% of his passes, 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Denver fell to 4-12, a 27-24 road defeat at Kansas City. Broncos gained just 307 yards. Russell Wilson coming off a game where he completed 68% and with 222 yards. He could be throwing against the Chargers reserves here. Ravens are a 9-point underdog at Cincinnati, so a loss is likely. That means the Chargers will have the 5th seed locked. In this scenario, LA would expect to rest starters as they have a road trip to Jacksonville the following week. They could be hit with a short week if that game comes up on Saturday. You never know. Play here will be Denver, -3. Rams and Seahawks, NFL pick here Sunday. Stafford out for LA with Donald out on defense. Running back Lockett and guard questionable for Seattle. A safety is questionable on defense. Rams are out of the playoffs with no first-round pick. Seahawks must win, have the Packers lose to make the playoffs. LA comes off the 31-10 road defeat to the Chargers. Rams put up just 277 yards in the loss. Rams allowed 192 rushing yards. Baker Mayfield, a poor game in defeat. 132 passing yards, 58% completions. In his road games, the Rams, Mayfield, a 57% completion rate, 6.1 yards per attempt. Seahawks kept their playoff hopes alive with their 23-6 home win to New York Jets. The run game generated 198 yards. Geno Smith threw for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. At home, Smith, a 69% completion rate with 6.9 yards per attempt. He has thrown for 14 touchdowns and 4 picks in his home stadium. Green Bay plays at night, so Seattle wins and puts the pressure on the Packers in their night game. Ram run defense looked poor last week without Donald. Rain in the forecast. Prefer the Seahawks run game. Play here Seattle at -6. Cardinals and 49ers, NFL pick Sunday. McCoy, Connor, and Hopkins out for Arizona on defense and nose tackle. Defensive end and linebacker both corners out. Guard out for San Francisco. On defense and linebacker out with both defensive tackles questionable. Cardinals out of the playoffs. San Francisco has won the NFC West. A win with an Eagles loss, and the 49ers earned the #1 seed. Arizona fell to 4-12, a 20-19 road defeat to the Atlanta Falcons. Cardinals gained 339 yards. The team has lost 6 straight, 8 of 9. David Blau last week against the Falcons completed 60% of his passes, 5.6 yards per attempt. Cardinals' past 3 games are averaging just less than 17 points a game. San Francisco, they're 12-4, a 37-34 road win at Las Vegas in overtime. 49ers posted 454 yards but allowed 500 yards to the Raiders. Brock Purdy, another good performance for San Francisco. Past 5 games, 67% completion rate, 8 yards per attempt. Past 4 home games, the 49ers have won by 13 or greater points. They play at the same time as the Eagles. Play here will be San Francisco at -14. Lions and Packers, NFL pick here Sunday. Detroit fullback and center questionable on defensive, safety and cornerback questionable as well. Packers starters on offense and defense healthy. Green Bay wins and the Packers make the playoffs. Detroit makes the playoffs with a win and Seattle loss. Detroit improved to 8-8 after a 41-10 home win to Chicago. Lions gained 504 yards, running for 265. Lions have won 4-5. They have covered 8 of 9 and beat the Green Bay Packers at home 15-9. Very frustrating day for Aaron Rodgers. Since the bye week, Jared Goff, 66% completion rate on the road, 7.8 yards per attempt. Green Bay has won 4 straight with their 41-17 home win in Minnesota. Packers win with 315 yards of offense. Aaron Rodgers, 159 yards, a touchdown, and 6.6 yards per attempt. Of course, Green Bay had an interception and kickoff return for touchdowns. Don't see the Lions laying down if Seattle wins early in the afternoon. They don't get this opportunity very much to be in prime time. Play here will be Detroit at -5, at +5. Detroit +5. All right, next up we have here the Lions and the Packers NFL pick here for action on Sunday night. Detroit fullback and center questionable. On defense, the safety and corner questionable. Packers starters on offense and defense healthy. Green Bay wins and the Packers make the playoffs. Detroit makes the playoffs with a win and Seattle loss. Detroit improved to 8-8. A 41-10 home win to Chicago. Lions gained 504 yards. They ran for 265. Lions have won 4 of 5. They have covered 8 of 9 and beat Green Bay at home 15-9. Really frustrating Aaron Rodgers. Since the bye week, Jared Goff a 65% completion rate on the road with 7.8 yards per attempt. Green Bay has won 4 straight with their 41-17 home win in Minnesota. Packers win with 315 yards of offense. Aaron Rodgers 159 yards, a touchdown, and 6.6 yards per attempt. Green Bay had an interception and kickoff return for touchdowns. Don't see the Lions playing down or laying down, I should say. Don't see the Lions laying down if Seattle wins early in the afternoon. They don't get this opportunity very much to be a prime time Sunday night game. The player will be on Detroit at +5. All right, that was our NFL pick show here for Sunday. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We post tons of free picks and all the NFL picks from every game on the board, so make sure you subscribe. Also, if you would support our channel, like the video, give us that thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Remember, visit Tony'sPicks.com for our best plays, our premium picks. Use that promo code TonyT at checkout, and you'll save 20% off. I'm Tony T. Back later on with NBA and college hoops picks.